Yo Joe and welcome to another video of Stevie's Customs. Today I'm gonna show you how I weathered this power armor on Patriarch's base. For my Tyranid Patriarch I built this big base with lots of details, extra skulls, power armor, and I wasn't quite happy with the color I painted the power armor in. It was this ultramarine blue and golden details. And I wanted to make it look like it's been there for quite a while, so I wanted to make it look like it was heavily weathered, all rusty and beat up. And in order to achieve that, I based the entire power armor in Rhinox hide first. And as well the helmet, of course. Okay, next I turned to Mournfang Brown. Because I wanted to make it look like... Oh wait, I have to shake that first, don't I? Yep, that looks much better. Okay, Mournfang Brown. I don't cover the entire power armor in Mournfang Brown, but I try to focus the color on those places where I think water would pool and the power armor would rust there even more than on other spots. So I just stipple it on certain places and I try to be as random as possible. For a more natural look, I diluted the paint just a bit, and some areas receive a second coat of paint. This creates a nice transition between the Rhinox hide and the Mournfang Brown. The eyes of the helmet I painted with Flesh Gits yellow. You might notice I don't paint the eyes very neatly, and I don't need to because I can fix that later. Next I will get my dry palette for a later step. And now I'm going to mix some Fire Dragon Bright with my Mournfang Brown, which I'm going to layer on top of the Mournfang Brown layer. I will focus it a bit more towards the edges though, to create a nice transition. I just stipple it on as random as I possibly can. Good thing I painted a lot of camo patterns before in my days. Otherwise this would be much harder. To create the effect of the really weathered power armor that's been laying there for years, I'm stippling on some pure Fire Dragon Bright towards the edges and all the ridges in the armor that would collect most of the water and erode the most. The stippling itself creates this texture, which only contributes towards the effect I'm trying to make. To tie the colors all together, I give it a nice coat of Agrax Earthshade. To preserve my brushes, I use the back of my brush to transfer the paint from the pot to the palette. That way, no paint can come up in the ferrule and my brushes will keep their nice point. The golden details on the armor are painted with this paint by Scale 75. Since I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the name, I'm not even going to try, but I like the color a lot. I use an old brush because I'm going to use a technique which is a mixture between dry brushing and wet brushing, and I don't want to use my good brush on that. I leave a bit more paint on the brush compared to dry brushing, and that's why I call it a mixture. I could call this armor done now, but I just want to give it a little bit extra. And for that, I'm using Vallejo Ultramarine Blue. I stipple tiny spots of marine blue here and there, and I try to be as random as possible. The effect I'm striving for is that the original color of the power armor shines through here and there. The bright blue spots create a nice contrast with the bright orange I used before, which creates a very nice visual effect. And of course, I repeat the process on the helmet as well. It's starting to look very nice now, but there's just one more thing I have to do. By putting a little bit Nihilach oxide on the metal parts, I want to suggest that the power armor has been outside for a very long time. Which creates a layer of patina on the metal parts. Why not just call it Spanish green, like we do in Dutch? Spanish green, I mean, how hard is it? Last step in the process is just to touch up all the Spanish green that I put on in the last step. And I just use any color on my palette that I seem fit. Rhinox hide, Mournfang brown, the orange, gold. Just make it beautiful. That's what we do, right? Make plastic beautiful. And there you have it. One heavily weathered power armor in pieces on the bottom of my base. Next step is weathering the sewer pipe, which I'll be showing in the next video. Until then, stay safe. Bye bye Joes. Bye bye. Oh yeah, thanks for watching of course.